It's all right. You're with me.
That's true.
Take it slow. The drugs are still wearing off.
It was with the fireflies, and then... What drugs?
You were running some tests on you. And some others. Turns out there's a whole lot more like you. People that are immune. Dozens of them. The doctors, they couldn't make any of it work. They've actually...
Intrusive thoughts.
I know, it's very intrusive thoughts.
They've stopped looking for a cure.
Are people hurt?
Yes.
She knows. She doesn't have to ask. She knows.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
She was the first to die. And then it was Tess. And then Sam.
That's not on you.
know.
Look, sometimes things don't work out the way we hope.
She's got like a list.
You can feel like you've come to an end. And you don't know what to do next. But if you just keep going, you find something new to fight for. And maybe that's not what you
Swear
want.
to me. Swear to me that everything you said about the fireflies is true.
I swear.
Wow. Building this foundation already.
Ugh.
Not on trust.
Just happened so easily. So easily.
He lied to protect her. I'm not saying that's a great thing.
Okay.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. The finale of The Last of Us Season 1 is finally here. Episode 9, Look for the Light. What a wild ride this season has been, and this episode is no exception. This is The Break Room, our daily show that keeps you updated on all the nerdy news that you need to know. And today, we're talking about all Season 1 finale of The Last of Us. So wipe away those tears and save your questions about morality and ethics for the end as we dive into this episode. I'm Jessica Clemons, not Carl's Winslow. I know you think I am. I am not. We'll get into the outfits in a little bit.
We'll explain that hours from now.
Yeah. Well, I'm not Carl Winslow, I'll tell you that much. Or Steve Harvey.
Who are you?
I'll get into it in a minute. I'm Jessica Clemons. Jessica Clemons, and with me today is Brandon Barrick.
Oh, hello.
And Anna Vanston.
I need the battery, Tess!
Oh, what a delivery.
Single battery. A single double A.
Powers a car right here.
It's true. It's true.
Hot
in my
wheel.
pocket.
Well, we can't wait to dive into this episode and talk more about it and the whole season in general. But we want to remind you to check out nerdriot.shop, where you can still grab the Last of Us inspired shirt, Lost in the Darkness. And check out the link in this video's description, where you can also grab this jacket from Huckberry. It's the same jacket that Joule wears on the show. Well, not the exact same one. He's got his own version. But Huckberry sells this jacket. So if you wanna dress like Joule, if you wanna get that Joule fit for the summer, get this nice warm jacket from Huckberry. Check out the link in the show's description to check that out for yourself. Now, as a reminder, as we go through the first part of this episode today, we're going to be as spoiler-free as possible. We're not going to talk about things from the video game that weren't in the show, or talk about part 2 of the video game or where the stories goes. We're just going to stick about what we saw on the show this first season. We recommend, if you haven't played the games, avoid reading the comments, and if you're in the comments, don't be spoiling everything, okay? There's a lot of stuff set up for season 2 throughout this series, but we'll have a big warning before we get into all that talk at the end of this episode. So for now, you're safe. You're safe with us. It was Raiders, okay? Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. This episode opens on a pregnant Ellie's mom sprinting through the woods.
Nope.
That's right. Longtime Last of Us fans will recognize that Anna is played by Ashley Johnson, the voice actor of Ellie from the games, also from Critical Role, also from a bigger part in the first Avengers movie that got cut out,
Yeah.
but she's still featured in the film. She makes her way to a 2-story farmhouse, once again hearing the howl of an infected in the distance. We've had so little infected people these last few episodes.
Yeah.
You almost forget that they're still out there, but we open on one this time, and it's pretty harrowing.
Yes, Anna enters the house and calls out for the rest of the fireflies, but no one is there. I was like, honey, you're... Oh, God, this is stress-inducing. As the sound of the infected grows closer, she manages to make her way up the stairs, but her water breaks. And if you're an idiot like me, you were like, what is that? Anna goes into what looks like a child's bedroom and barricades the door with a chair. Between her pained breathing, we hear the sound of something entering the house. She pulls out a familiar-looking switchblade for protection. call back. The infected bursts through that door and scrambles towards Anna. This is probably one of the top 10 worst things that happen while giving birth.
Yes.
Maybe number 1, because you're not expecting this.
I mean, honestly, she actually popped the thing out with such ease that I'm like,
well,
maybe
I was like,
considering
the
when I
adrenaline.
go one day.
The adrenaline. I was like, maybe someone
Yeah,
needs to pop under the bed and scare you, and then it shoots out.
If you or your partner are going to be having a child soon, hire someone to burst into the room right as the baby's coming out. It'll make the baby coming out seem much
slide,
easier.
baby.
I'm gonna kill you! Ah! It literally pounces on Anna.
Oh
It
my
like
gosh.
literally is
She's
throwing
like stuck
itself.
there. Ugh.
It's behind. You're trapped between a murderous cordyceps and a wall, honey, and you're giving birth, honey. She struggles to honestly, worse than House of the Dragon. Worse than House of the Dragon.
That was some brutal birth scenes.
Yes,
I don't know.
She struggles to reach her knife while trying to avoid getting bit. She finally grabs and kills the infected, stabbing it multiple times.
That's right. But during the scuffle, Anna has given birth to Ellie.
Who needs a water birth?
I mean, I cried. This was just that little baby was so adorable.
I can't wait. Can't wait to have 3.
She takes a second in all of this new life, and then looks at her thigh to see that she was bitten by the infected during the struggle. And she quickly realizes that the baby is still attached via the umbilical cord, which she cuts quickly, ties it off, picks up the baby. Anna comforts Ellie as she lets out another series of cries, and Anna says, "You fucking tell him, Ellie." So good. I'm gonna cry just thinking about it. It was just beautiful. Just like so good. And knowing everywhere that Ellie's been since then, it's just like,
oh, honey. Well, just get ready. Marlene and a few other fireflies finally arrive.
I love it. She's like, "Sorry, we're late." Yeah, sorry. Stuff your sorries in a sack.
Girl, I'm not trying to be that person, but I'm pregnant.
Not anymore. You're
Running
not
through the
pregnant.
forest. Marlene should have been there already. She leads them through the back of the house and see the smashed window that the infected enter through and make their way up the stairs. We hear Anna softly singing Aha's "The Sun Always Shines on TV." Ellie's love for Aha is in her blood, and I love it.
Her tape is probably her mom's tape.
Don't bring
it's
it up.
like,
Don't bring it up. You're gonna start crying again.
I know.
Oh, Marlene calls out to her and there's no answer. Marlene makes her way to the bedroom and slowly pushes open the door, her flashlight revealing the dead infected, as well as Anna holding baby Ellie. Anna removes the knife that she's holding up against her neck. We see a small mark enough to draw blood, but not enough to kill her. She was likely ready to kill herself, which again, top 10 worst things, like having to stab yourself to death.
Knowing that you're turning and you be like, "I gotta save this baby." Oh my god.
And not knowing when they're coming back.
Right,
too.
yeah.
Like,
Or if they're ever coming back.
She's so lucky Marlene is so lucky she held out that long. Like, I was like, it's dark now. I would have thrown myself out. I don't know what happened. Okay, either way. We see the infection spreading on her thigh. Anna reassures Marlene that it's not her fault, while Marlene tries to explain that they were delayed getting out of the QZ, placing this house near Boston. But Anna is all business, saying Ellie needs to be fed. She doesn't want to nurse her because she's infected.
which is kind of how were they gonna feed? How were they gonna feed
There's
Ellie?
probably
Did
like
they
a
formula?
formula,
I
right?
mean, there's probably a formula. There are potentially like other women who are also have given birth
Honestly,
recently and are able to give milk.
You probably make so much money in the QZ if you're a woman that's breastfeeding and you have milk to supply other people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, either way.
There's your plan.
My new job, become pregnant 24/7. Importantly, Anna stresses stop, this is a sad part.
Okay.
Importantly, Anna stresses to Marlene that she cut the umbilical cord before she was bit, which is a damn bold-faced lie.
It's a good lie, though.
She had to.
I mean, we do know she was bit in the leg, right? And that chart was like, we know that's multiple hours, double-digit hours for the infection to get kind of that far
to get
spread.
to the brain,
right? But
it's
a lot closer to the stomach. But it's got to go through the bloodstream and then get into the digestive stream. I don't know. I don't know baby science, folks. But I think this
I'm no baby scientist.
I'm no baby scientist, but I think this calculated risk paid off because she's got that immunity.
Yeah,
dog,
that's
you know
true.
What I mean?
Oh, you're keeping noted. She asked Marlene to take her to Boston and to find someone to raise her, and I guess Marlene decided the school for fascists was truly the best option. With Ellie in her hands, Marlene refuses to kill Anna. She begs, screaming after Marlene as she leaves the room, and this scene tore me apart.
I mean,
Oh, God, I couldn't. Oh, my God. I wish I could have fast forwarded through this, but I have to watch this for you guys.
Right.
Marlene passes baby Ellie off to one of the other fireflies and then returns in total darkness, literally stomping down the hallway to quickly shoot Anna. The gunshot causes Ellie to cry, and Marlene returns to hold and comfort her.
I was so pissed because she
Thank
handed
you.
off Ellie
Thank
and
you.
she was like, something like, hold her with both hands or support her head or something. And she comes back and this guy's just like,
And he shows like cover her ears.
He covered the ears, that's what it was.
Guy doesn't even move. This guy, I hope he got reprimanded by the Fireflies.
you
I
had
hope he was demoted.
one job.
Go
cover the
downstairs.
ears.
I'm
You
like-
let this child hear her mother get killed.
That, and then I was like, okay, the baby, like, in a quiet place, I'm like, okay, the baby's gonna sound off and alert other cordyceps.
Right.
So I was like, please, you guys, keep this in mind.
Someone teach these men how to raise a child, okay? It's modern day, folks. We got a modern day Ellie who's lost in thought while sitting in the back of a pickup truck on the highway towards Salt Lake City. She's just coming off the events of David, but it's weighing on her, right? Joel tries to get her attention after scavenging. He found a can of Chef Boyardee, her favorite, and then Game Boggle, and he wants to show her. He's like an excited dad. He's so happy, but she is not having it. She's remaining distant, and not even the fact that Joel offers to teach her how to play guitar can really hold her attention. Though this is like the most probably honest like dad-child moment when your father tries to teach you something that they're passionate about. You're like, I don't care, loser. Okay, boomer, take your guitar somewhere else, buddy.
That relatable moment where your daughter has PTSD and is disassociating.
Very relatable. Your daughter just killed someone. You're trying to have fun, and she can't get over it. Let's grow up
It'd
already.
be like that sometimes.
While this is the warmest we've seen Joel since the first episode, is the most attached we've ever seen Ellie, who's one of our most empathetic characters. She's just like, I mean, she's shook. She's 14 years old. This is a lot. Even in a post-apocalyptic world, that's all she's known. This is a lot. Yeah. Ellie identifies the classic Joel plan of finding a skyscraper to go up and look around to get their bearings, and the two make their way up to a decrepit building in Salt Lake City. Joel spies a ladder through a hole in the floor above them. This is a very video gamey moment. When looking to give Ellie a boost, we see her again zoning out. Joel tries to check with her, saying she seems extra quiet today.
After Ellie apologizes, Joel doesn't press the point. We get a classic game moment as he boosts Ellie to the next floor. She starts to lower the ladder, but something catches her attention, causing her to drop the ladder on Joel. Which, again, I'm like, Ellie, stop this. You're wild.
He still has a stab wound.
Yeah.
He still has a stab
I was happy to get a little, even a little bit of emotion out of her. And this is like the first bit we get is her excitement here. He climbs up the ladder and is barely able to keep his eyes on her as she runs ahead, urging him to follow. And after a lot of running, which certainly must have been a killer on Joel's knees, he climbs a final flight of stairs to give us one of the most iconic images from the game, the giraffe.
I
that giraffe.
love the
It looks
giraffe
great.
moment.
Real giraffe? Real giraffe?
So, there
And they
was
were
a
close
little...
to it. It looked really real.
It didn't because the
Real
back...
giraffe?
No.
I think, okay, hold on. I'm going to make just a little
Okay.
argument. I think it might be maybe a mixture of CGI
Yes. Yeah,
and a
there's
real
some
giraffe.
CGI.
I mean, of course. But I think maybe there was rumors that they went to a zoo in
That
Alberta to
giraffe
shoot.
eating the plant out of the hand. You can't tell me that's CGI. Maybe I need to watch it.
A little
Go
mixture.
watch it again.
I think it's maybe a mixture of
Okay,
a real
mixture.
giraffe and,
Okay.
and CGI.
The background of it was, in the nicest way possible, really bad. Because I remember
That's fine.
looking at but it blended with the giraffe's head, and that's why I don't think the giraffe is
Okay.
real.
Okay.
But
Well,
keep going.
Regardless, that moment is such a good moment because I feel like, to me, the giraffe symbolizes like a life worth living for Ellie. It's the first time she snaps out of this disassociation and PTSD trauma and is like reminded why she should go, why she gets excited for life again. And what I extra love about this moment in the show is that while Ellie is so focused on the giraffe and what is worth fighting for to her, Joel the entire time is looking at Ellie, which is that's what's worth fighting for him. And it's this beautiful moment where they're both like just reminded of why they are still
You think
fighting.
Joel's thinking like, that's a lot of meat on that giraffe?
My first thought
Could eat
was,
that giraffe.
where's the cougar? Where's the polar bear? Where's the other
The
animals?
polar
that are
bear's
just
in
running?
Antarctica.
No, that's the thing. There's a polar bear in the California Zoo.
Right.
That's
but
insane.
he probably left. He was like, I'm out of here.
No, you think he's trying to
Hey,
find
I'm outta here. I'm going
colder
back.
weather?
I'm
He's
going
like,
back.
hey, I'm gonna travel.
Probably around David's village.
Oh my god! And they probably ate it,
No, they prefer people.
did things to it. Keep going.
So in a callback to their time in Boston, the two repeat their exchange while looking at the Boston skyline.
So, is it everything you hoped for?
It's got its ups and downs. But you can't deny that view.
Is it everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, you can't deny that view.
Joel like kind of smiles and chuckles at that. And that's just so sweet. Joel tries to level with Ellie. He tells her that there may be something bad out there, using that as an out to say that they don't have to find the hospital. He's really slow playing this. This totally reminds me of when they were kind of meeting up with Tommy and Jackson, and you could see Ellie being like, I don't like this. I'm losing this dynamic. I'm going to lose Joule to this new thing. Joel's feeling like I'm going to lose Ellie to whatever this new thing is. This was the whole end goal, and now we're here. The months have passed, but I don't want it to go away. I don't want to leave Ellie.
Second guessing is real.
Ellie pushes back, saying after everything they've done, it can't be for nothing. And this is so like Joule, where like a strong, confident woman tells him the business and he takes it. Like we saw this with Tess, where like he didn't want to leave Tess, and Tess is like, you save this girl, you get her to Colorado, you do what has to be done, and he's like, you got it, boss.
I think Joule respects
and like
women.
Ellie's done this, Ellie's done this before to him, where she takes a firm hand with him. I mean, this was him wrapped up in the blanket, ready to die. She gives him a knife and says, you got to kill these guys. I got to go, okay? And he does it. So right here, like when he's ready to back out, and he's hoping Ellie will say, you know what, you're right, we don't got to be here, let's go. She's like, no, we got to do this. It's got to mean something.
And
he takes that.
Not only does she say, after everything we've done, she then follows it with, after everything I've been through. Yeah. And he can't argue with that.
He's put her through a lot.
I mean...
Yeah, after what he told Tommy, he's like, she had to kill a guy because of me.
Well, even things that weren't his fault, the David thing mostly. I feel like that's really what she's like.
Right,
she's
right.
like,
But he takes responsibility for it, right? He's like, it's my fault and I got a baseball bat shoved in my abdomen. And you had to deal with that. I should have been better. I should have been better. Back on the ground, the two make their way through an abandoned army medical camp. It prompts Joule to open up about his past, as he had been in one of those in the early days of the outbreak because of the wound that was called out on his ear earlier. You know, he said he was like shot at and missed. Ellie mentions that guy who shot at him and missed, right? And Joule reveals that the man who shot and missed was in fact Joule himself. Oh boy. Joule tried to unalive himself in the early days of the pandemic. Joule indulges Ellie in some shitty puns from No Pun Intended, Volume 2. But behind them, a man stealthily tosses a flashbang, and they get knocked to the ground. This guy was camping around the corner, folks. Classic Call of Duty technique.
It was such a game move, but then I was also like, why did you throw that?
I mean, they don't know.
They didn't want to kill them, but it was just so cartoony to be like...
Right. I mean, if you call out and you're like, hey, you there, they could turn around and start blasting or something. Hey, welcome to Salt Lake City. Have you heard of the Book of Mormon? There you go. So one of them grabs Ellie and she shouts for Joule, who's swiftly knocked out with the butt of a gun. Another classic video game moment to get you from one section to another. You get knocked out, you wake up somewhere else.
There you go. Joule comes to laying in a hospital bed, seeing spray-painted Firefly logos as his vision comes back into focus. And who is there to greet him but Marlene?
Dun, dun, dun!
Who we haven't seen. Welcome home, Joe. Who we haven't seen in a very long time.
Haven't seen her since episode 1? Yeah.
Like Tess, I was like, we're only going to get them for so little of time. Whatever. Joule immediately asks where Ellie is. Marlene tells him that she's safe, but being prepped for surgery. Marlene slowly explains that their doctor believes that the cordyceps has grown with Ellie since birth, producing a chemical messenger that makes normal cordyceps think she's also a cordyceps, thus making her immune. Wow! Insane!
Wow.
The plan to make the cure, the doctor is going to remove the cordyceps from her, multiply the cells in the lab, and produce the chemical messengers. This could be the cure they've been searching for this entire time. But Joule knows cordyceps grows in the brain.
That's right.
And Marlene knows this too. So this surgery will kill Ellie.
I wonder if these like cordyceps messengers in her brain is maybe what makes Ellie more interested in violence than most people. Maybe just adds a little flavor of, interesting violence.
That's a very interesting
Maybe
idea.
Joule has a cordyceps then. Because Joule has been stabbing people in the face.
Yes. There are parasites that act like that. One notably...
The one for the ants.
One that goes through like cats and rats, basically. If you're a pregnant woman, you're not supposed to empty out the kitty litter. Toxic plasmosis. It gets into a rat and makes the rat unafraid of cats. So the rat gets near a cat. The cat eats the rat, and now the toxic plasmosis is in the cat where it wants to be, comes out in the feces, rat eats the feces, cycle continues.
So you're telling me if I eat feces, I won't be afraid of cats anymore?
Well, what can happen is this could get into your brain, Jessica, and it could start to alter your personality. And there are theories that like toxic plasmosis in humans can make them more violent or tend to be a little more wild or change how they process. We all are currently affected by parasites, viruses, and bacteria living in our bodies, multiplying, affecting the way we act. They've co-evolved with us for millions of years, folks. It also harkens back to what we were talking about last week. Could she infect someone? If it's alive in her, still, and it's just not infecting her body. Could she give it to someone else?
She should try to bite someone.
She should just bite an asshole and see what happens.
Bite an asshole?
Well, bite someone who is an asshole. Bite them on their asshole. I don't know.
I'll bite the asshole. I'll take one for the team.
Slurp.
Marlene tells Joel that Ellie wasn't informed. Because why would they tell her?
Why would they ask her?
Why would you ask? Yeah. So she'll have no fear and there won't be any pain. Joel demands to be taken to her and is decked by a guard.
Oh, buddy. Marlene tells her guards to walk him out to the highway with his pack, to give him Ellie's knife, and that if he tries anything, to shoot him. This is classic James Bond evil bad guy behavior. Should have just killed him right then, Marlene. That was your first mistake.
Easy.
2 guards usher Joel out of the hospital room. R.I.P. guys. They walk him down the decrepit hospital hallway. This guy has got to be one of the dumbest guys in the whole show.
Marlene should have warned them that,
she
knows what he's capable of.
Right.
And I thought about that when the guy was like, keep walking. Because I was like, you're kind of afraid of this
man. If this guy's like kind of slowing down, he's going to pull something on you. Like, be careful. As they lead him down the stairwell, Joel spins around, punching a guard in the face. Joel grabs his gun and shoots both of them, hitting the guard who was ordering him around in the leg. Joel asks him where Ellie is, to which the guard says, "Fuck you."
That's Ellie's line. You can't take Ellie's line.
Ellie's the only one who says that to me, so Joel kills him. He doesn't have time for this BS, and we hear cries of alarms come out over the dead guard's radio. Joel retrieves Ellie's knife off one of their bodies and heads back into the hospital.
Jesus, in an incredible action montage, and I love this. I watched this, and then I watched John Wick, and I said, what's the difference? What's the damn difference? Joel blasts his way back through the hospital, murdering the Fireflies left and right in cold blood.
We get one more giraffe illusion.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if y'all saw this. He's going down the pediatric hallway, and there are little animals all over the wallpaper.
Right.
We see some monkeys, we see a little hippo, but there is a little blurry giraffe in the background.
Came back.
That reminded me too of like when they find the little hideout underneath Kansas City where they've like kind of painted the walls so like joyous and happy, but this is an evil dark place, right? As he's making his way through this pediatric surgery wing, right, the music is like a darker take on the show's theme. It's giving us like evil, it's giving us menace. Is Joel the bad guy here? Have the tables turned in a way we're not comfortable with? I don't know. So he makes his way into the operating room and he sees a doctor and 2 nurses hovering over Ellie, who is sedated in a hospital gown. Making his way inside, Joel watches them remove the oxygen mask from her. He surprises the group, telling them to unhook her. I thought it was really weird they didn't have a guard for this room, but that's totally fine. The doctor steps forward, grabbing a surgical tool. He says he won't let Joel take her. Brave move, my guy.
What you gonna do?
You said you would do no harm, and you're about to harm Joel, but I see your point. Joel doesn't waste a second, doesn't even hear him out, shoots him, causing the nurses to scream. This time they listen when he asks them to unhook her. They free Ellie from the medical apparatus and bandage her arm. Joel keeps the gun trained on the nurses, telling them to turn around, which they do. He lifts Ellie out of the bed as he walks away with her arms. We get a close-up of the doctor that Joel shot, who's bleeding from the gunshot in his head.
And as he's carrying her away, I feel like there's a really good setup shot as he's looking down that echoes his moment with Sarah in the first episode. It's just like,
he makes it down to the parking garage and he walks towards a car with a battery attached to it, getting charged up. From around the corner, we hear Marlene's voice saying, "You can't keep her safe forever." Marlene asks what he thinks Ellie would choose, that she would probably want to do what's right, and that Joel knows that. We cut to a tired-looking Joel driving down a country road. For a second, we're with him, until we hear a tiny exhale. In the rearview mirror, we see Ellie, still in the hospital scrubs, laying in the back seat. He didn't leave her behind. He took her with him, of course. Joel comforts her as she comes to her senses. He tells her the drugs are wearing off, and it shows. With Ellie slow to come to, seemingly the last thing she remembers just being with the Fireflies. She asks, what drugs? Becoming clear that she didn't know that she would be operated on. She was like, slipped something without her knowledge. Joel musters himself up for the hard conversation that he does not have because he lies. And he tells her they are running tests on her and dozens of other immune people exist, but the doctors couldn't make any of it work, and they've stopped looking for a cure. This is all great BS to give Ellie. On screen, we see Marlene lower her gun and approach the 2 of them, and then she gets shot by Joel. I don't know how he managed to sneakily get that gun ready, but he did a great job. Great upper body strength by Joel. He's really shown it this whole series.
One hand lifting her little calf and then just go. I mean, it's like the sneak attack they did in Django Unchained when he had the gun come out of the sleeve. They just like lifted the little leg.
Oh, yeah. So Ellie keeps asking questions. Joel keeps the lies going, saying that raiders attacked the hospital. They didn't have time to grab her clothes. They barely escaped. But I think Ellie's she's already suspicious about what's going on. She asks if people are hurt, to which Joel takes a second before finally replying yes, his first honest answer. When asked if Marlene is okay, Joel simply says, I'm taking you home. So he doesn't really give an answer there. Ellie, accepting this explanation or not, turns away from Joule in the back seat.
With Joel not giving an answer is an answer. Right?
I mean, that's a very
Honestly,
non-answer answer from Joule.
He's in dad mode.
Yeah.
And dads lie.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad.
Sorry, dad.
Sorry, dads. Sorry, dads. Through all of this, we see what's actually played out happening in Joel's mind. He can't shake it. He's clearly very shook. He's the one who shot Marlene.
Can't shake it, but he shook. Can't shake it, he shook.
He can't shake that he shook, folks. He shoots Marlene, lays Ellie in the backseat of the car before he gets in the driver's seat. He hears Marlene coughing, trying to pick herself up. She begs for her life, but Joel said that she'd only come after Ellie, and she probably would. He shoots Marlene one final time.
It'd be like that. We get a travel montage, the car traveling. Look here. If it was my daughter, I'd do the same thing.
That's right.
That's my baby. We get a travel montage, a car traveling through the winter Midwestern landscape, arriving in Wyoming. We get a close-up of Ellie looking at her infection, and Joel assesses that the car is broken down. It was sputtering, smoke, and everything.
I think the car broke down.
I was like, you think? It was so funny. I was like, yeah, me, not a car person, can tell that. He tells Ellie that it's only about 5-hour hike to Jackson. A 5-hour
It's a throwback though to episode 3-4, whenever they're in the woods,
Yeah.
and he's like, 5-hour hike, she says, we can manage. And he goes, get it? And I'm like, Joel, I get it. I'm here with you.
We've all been there too. Like we can see Ellie's perspective of like when you've had a rough confrontation with your parents and they're just trying to move past it, and you're like, yeah, we can move past it.
She also like just came to, and she's like, I'm confused. I'm still disoriented. You're gonna make me walk.
Well, and she hates the idea of people being killed because of her.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know this full circumstances, but she knows that people died because of her.
Yeah. Or well, she thinks.
She knows that people were hurt. So yeah.
If she never existed, Joel would have never killed all those people, I guess.
True.
As the two make the hike, Joel tells her about Sarah. He recalls her fondly, the most comfortable we've seen him be when talking about her, period. Yeah. Joel says that he thinks Sarah and Ellie would be friends because she's funny, and also adds that Sarah's a little more preppy.
Yeah.
She's a little girly.
Yeah.
The two get to the hill overlooking Jackson. Ellie tells Joel that she had to kill Riley after she got bit, and she still holds that guilt. Guilt that seemingly would have been erased if she could have been the key to that cure. To Ellie, this was the first person to die on her journey, and she starts recalling everyone else that has died so far, like Tess and Sam, and just added to a list of people she feels guilty for dying, and it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault.
Mom technically was the first person to die on her journey.
Technically her mom needs to be on the list.
Started
way early.
Yeah, she knows her mom was bit.
She didn't know much about her mother, and she asked if Marlene was her mother, so she had no idea if her mother was alive or dead.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Okay, no. Oh.
Yeah.
Noted. Joel cuts her off saying it's not on her, saying things don't always work out. He relates her experience to his, how it can feel like you can come to an end and not know what comes next. But if you keep fighting, you'll find something to fight for. Ellie cuts him off. She asks him to swear to her that everything he said about the Fireflies was true. And after a second, he says, I swear. Period. Ellie takes this in, mulling it over. She looks back at Joel and says, okay. And cut to the credits.
Cut to the credits.
Deadass.
Oh my goodness.
He said, and then it's one thing to be like, yes or no, to be like, I swear.
I swear.
You can't even act like you vaguely said something.
I mean, okay, well, let's just get into it all right now, okay? There's two parts to my first question here.
Okay.
Did Joel make the right choice, and do you think Ellie believes the lie? Who wants to answer first if Joel made the right choice?
I'll say short, and then we can get into long.
Yeah, give me your short.
Did Joel make the right choice? No.
Okay, what's your short answer, Anna? Did Joel make the right choice?
No.
And I
It's
would
my
also,
short answer.
It's the short answer, yeah.
I
There's a
will
long
also
answer
say,
for
did
my
you
no.
make the right choice? No.
But there's a long answer
too.
There's a long
Go
answer.
ahead and leave your comments now.
Why not?
Into the video, cut it off.
No. So I'm gonna be making a longer video on this that dives into the psychology and all this good stuff. But I'm gonna talk just my opinion right now. My longer, more elaborate answer is that from an outside perspective, there is not really a way that you can reason it away. Like, it's not the right choice. That being said, I understand and empathize with his choice.
I mean, you could also consider that this doctor isn't a doctor, right? Like, we don't know who this guy is who claims to be a doctor. If
Let me see your credentials.
If it's the end of the world and you're like, yeah, I was a brain surgeon, and they're like, prove it, and you just take a body and go, and they're like, I guess that's what brain surgery looks like? I don't know.
He's like, I'm actually a man that owns a deli.
I was a deli surgeon.
I was wondering where you were trying to shove ham into her head this whole time.
I'm a ham surgeon. You familiar with the idea? I do thin slices. Because and again, like even if this guy is a real brain surgeon and cuts it open, like this might not even work, right? It might not even work.
It might not work.
But yes.
Who do you think Joule did it for? Do you think Joule did it for Ellie or for him or for I don't know?
He did it for
else?
himself.
It's-
It was clearly it had to be himself. He's not saving Ellie. He loves her.
Yeah.
Like she was the one that was like, I need to do this. I need to do this, and he's like, well, I can't let that slide. You're all I have.
I think he's justified in saying like she didn't get a choice. And if you had given her the choice, I could maybe abide by it.
I still think
But
she would have done it.
Even if
Well,
Marlene was
yeah.
like, oh, we asked her, here's a tape recording of her saying it's okay, Joel would have still been like,
She's
Yeah.
a child.
And I think that while if I was in his shoes, honestly, my biggest concern would be the consent part of it.
Right.
But one, I don't think he cares because one, he didn't stick around to wait until she woke up to give her
right.
consent.
Hey, just to make sure, you okay? All right, go back to sleep.
And two, I think the reason he tells her that they stopped looking for a cure is because he knows that she would go back if she
Yeah.
did once.
Absolutely.
Now that she
Yeah,
does
yeah.
have the choice.
Yeah.
So I don't think he actually cares about that aspect of it. I think this is completely selfish
Well,
choice,
that's-
which is very human.
Well, that's part of the second thing, right? If we all kind of agree, Ellie doesn't buy it at all, right?
No.
Ellie's not buying it.
No.
So in theory, she could immediately be like, screw you, I know you're lying, I'm going back. But she's not going to because I think she also wants to live because she does have a reason to live. She's found the family that she's so desperate for. Her biggest fear was being alone, and this man would do whatever it takes to be with her. And she's not gonna. What's the point of living in a world that's fine if you don't even have that? And I think that's totally justified.
Do you think Ellie believed the lie? I would say yes. And when I say yes, it's a long answer. I think it's more. That's a long answer. I think it's more so. It's like this is the only person you can trust in the entire world right now. Period. Tommy's
Right.
gone. Like I guess you can go back to Tommy. You didn't even like Tommy's wife. Like
Yeah.
it's all she knows is Joule, right? And I think you're right when it's like this guy's protecting me. This guy's like I'm following him. He's definitely my father figure. But I think she still knows that he's lying. But she's like, I'm not going. It's a weird. I don't know. There's probably a word for it to be like. I'm not going to go against what you said. Like, I trust you so much that I'm trying to believe you, but I know you're lying to me. But it's still him. It's still Joel. It's her dad. So it's like, I think she knows he's lying, but I don't think she.
Is this the prisoner's dilemma where Joel knows that she knows he's lying, but as long as they have this kind of fake agreement on the outside, they can move forward.
There's going to be a time in the second season where someone's going to be like, do you believe him? And she's going to be like, no. She's going to.
I mean, that's totally possible, right? If someone from the outside asked, she'd be like, oh no, this guy killed everybody.
No, he did it.
I think she desperately wants it to be true.
Yeah,
but
that too.
deep down, she has doubts for
Right.
sure. To relate it, there was one time where I had to get shots, right? 2 shots for college, and I had to
Whiskey
do a
and vodka.
needle shot.
it's funny.
Needle
You went to
shots.
liquor. I went to photo shoot.
Oh.
that's nice.
Needles, and I had to get it at like a grocery store, which sucked. And so I was sitting, and the dude gave me. I
Was it
hated
the produce department, or was this the
listen.
deli doctor that did this?
Oh no!
He's like, look here, I didn't wash my hands after stuffing this turkey.
I woke up with cheeses in my pockets. I was so confused.
There's a bunch of toothpicks in this bucket. I'm getting some
You
cured
wake
ham.
up with party toothpicks stuck out of your body.
It wasn't a needle, it was a toothpick he used to do it. No, listen, there's more to this story. There's more to the story. I got the first shot, and then he was like, okay, up, we gotta turn the chair around and get the other arm. And I was like, ugh, and I got up and I sat back down. And then he was about to get the second shot. I was like, well, I feel really fucking dizzy.
Oh,
no.
And I pass out. And then I come to, and when I come to, he's like, all right, well, you're going to have to come back tomorrow to get your second shot. And I was like, why didn't you give it to me when I was passed out? Like, I hate needles.
Oh,
I
they
would have
couldn't-
rather.
oh.
And so with Ellie, it's kind of like, I would think that, like, oh my God, you should have killed me when I didn't know I was going to be killed.
Right.
And
Oh,
now there'd be a
that-
little
now that I'm
fear
alive.
of like, yeah, like,
Yeah,
now
that
you're
I
presented with this golden option of having a
Yeah.
happy life with Joel, or you can go die.
Right.
You can go die if you want.
I mean, my thing with like, you know, with all these zombie shows and like post-apocalyptic stuff, everyone's like, what's your plan? My plan's to fucking die immediately.
Yeah, oh
please.
yeah.
I do not
Oh,
want to
yeah.
live in this post-apocalyptic
Oh, yeah.
world.
I-
That's an interesting idea you bring up, Anna. The idea that like, now that she has been taken out of this kind of clean option of like just going to sleep and not knowing what happened, now she's forced to be here. It's like, well, I better make some sort of tacit agreement with my reality that like, oh, everything's fine because I don't want to take the option of like.
It would be really scary
going back to
face.
that. Yeah.
I mean, also we can't rule out the fact that even if she went back, for all she knows, everyone's dead. The doctor's dead. Like, no one else can necessarily do the operation now.
I'm sure the 2 nurses that survived are going to tell the rest of the Fireflies about what happened.
I don't know what's going to happen
Kill
next.
that Joule and that Ellie.
Well, we got lots more to talk about with this episode. But first, we want to thank our sponsors for today, including Quip. Over the past couple of weeks, our friends at Quip asked you, yes, you, to vote for your favorite Last of Us character, Joule or Ellie. Whichever character received the most votes from the promo codes Joule or Ellie would be crowned the Quipocalypse winner. And Quip would be sending a special power-up to everyone who made a qualifying purchase using the winner's code. And the votes are in, folks. The Quipocalypse winner is Joule!
That's why
we're dressed like this.
Which, it's been 30 minutes into this episode. I get that. And you probably were very confused at why I look like this.
We waited a little too long.
No, I think it was worth it.
Can you explain which Joule you are?
Yeah, which Joule are you?
I'm the battery.
You're the battery. Which Joule are you?
I'm first episode Joule.
Okay, and I'm Joule episode 8, who's under the blanket and totally has to kill. Ready?
Oh, my baby.
Wait, what's that?
My baby.
What's that in my pocket? No.
You know what? Honestly, you were in that one.
And we have
What's this?
Fourth Joule.
A fourth Joule?
I got you, baby girl.
Oh, is this Daddy Joule?
Joule on Joule action.
I don't want.
I don't like this Joule.
Saw it coming.
Stop licking your crack.
What do you eat?
It's my hydro bag. I sold my pills, but I can still eat the residue.
Isn't Pedro's hair kind of coiffed up, like neatly?
No, Pedro's hair looks like this.
Oh, okay.
I'm Pedro from The Mandalorian.
Oh.
With his helmet all roughed up.
Oh, okay.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
This has been my contribution to the show.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you. Thank you to all the Joels, and thank you to you. So be on the lookout for an email from Quip sooner than later if you voted for Joel. And if you missed the contest, no worries. Just go to getquip.com/newrockstars and you'll get 20% off any Quip water flosser, Quip toothbrush, or Quip gum starter kit. Their electric toothbrush is great. It has time sonic vibrations with 30-second pulses. To guide a dentist-recommended 2-minute clean. There's no wires or bulky charging to weigh you down. Then they have this really awesome water flosser that blasts away plaque and popcorn with precision thanks to the 360-degree rotating magnet floss tip that snaps into place. And boy, this thing has got some...
Let me hold it up.
Don't point it at me. Okay.
It's got a lot of power. Oh, God, I can't stop it.
Did you get this? You shot me directly in the
You're
eye.
all right. You'll survive. You'll survive the Quipocalypse. Don't worry. And there's also sugar-free gum that helps prevent cavities and freshen breath when you chew it for 20 minutes, or you chew it for 20 minutes after eating. This is great. Sugar-free. Clean your breath. Clear it all up. The first season of The Last of Us might be over, but the fight against tooth decay never ends, folks.
Amen.
Quip wants to know what is the one item you would need for the apocalypse. Just tag New Rockstars and Quip in your Instagram post and show us what you would need for the apocalypse.
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
Animals.
Maybe take your water flosser to fend off the cordyceps. You saw what it could do to a human eye. Imagine what it could do to an infected person's
You could clean your eyes with it.
fungus growth. Do not shoot this in your eye. Absolutely do not shoot this in your eye.
If I had to choose something, it's a tongue scraper.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm a person that cares about my dental hygiene. Period.
Tongue scrapers are great because, it gets all that bacteria and all that stuff. You can be featured on our pages, so make sure you are following and subscribe to both New Rockstars and Quip. Also, head on over to getquip.com/newrockstars right now to get 20% off any Quip water flosser, Quip toothbrush, or Quip's gum starter kit. That's getquip.com/newrockstars.
New Rockstar! Go to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Meet with an expert who will do them for you. TurboTax experts can relieve you from the stress of taxes and file for you so you can do not taxes. Show your eyes things that are not taxes. Unpack a moving box of not taxes. Taste not taxes. Sing not taxes a lullaby. Hope not taxes sleep through the night. Grab a saddle and ride not taxes into the sunset. With TurboTax, an expert will do your taxes from start to finish, ensuring your taxes are done right, guaranteed, so you can relax. Feels good to be done with your taxes, doesn't it? Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Visit TurboTax.com to learn more. Intuit TurboTax.
Full service products only. Video meeting while expert does your taxes required. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. So my second question for you both today, how did you take the explanation of Ellie's immunity? Did we even need an explanation in the show? This is something that was new from the game, right? They didn't really get into this in the game. as far as like where her immunity comes from, unless I'm completely wrong about that.
Are you talking about like how the cordyceps are in the brain? What
Well,
Marlene and her
showing the moment that essentially created the immunity for Ellie.
Yeah, and I think that was probably the best way to do is by introducing her mom.
Right.
Doing the entire thing with her mom. It made us realize, like, also the knife, like seeing the actual knife that called back, but just like feeling that moment for Anna and then seeing how much she is actually like Ellie was so nice for storytelling purposes, but also really needed for understanding how Ellie is immune.
I mean, we did joke about it, like video game players, when she's kind of running through the woods, might recognize some of the like grunts, the Ellie grunts you would get in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the voice was very familiar.
Very familiar. Very familiar.
It took me a minute because I'm an idiot. I was like, "That's Ashley Johnson, right?" It wasn't because her eyebrows were so dark and her hair was so dark.
One thing that did kind of concern me was that Marlene would know pretty much now how the immunity got passed on Ellie. So it's like, is there not going to be like a farm where people are buying?
Well,
that's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping. But I genuinely think Marlene believes that she cut the umbilical cord before
it happened.
And that's honestly, I'm not to be a person. That's a stupid thing to think. I would be like, let's try. Maybe.
Well, I think Marlene needs to think that to keep this baby alive.
Yeah.
To keep the other people who have seen this.
Yeah, that's true.
And I also, we kind of talked about we joked about Marlene throwing her into a Fedra school. I think it was just to keep her away from the Fireflies because the Fireflies were dangerous. They're deemed as a terrorist group by these like fascist overlords. So if they're ever caught, this baby would be either killed or wind up at a Fedra school anyways. Mm-hmm. So I think her thinking is like, I got to keep it away from this dangerous society, but I'll keep an eye on her from afar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I liked getting the explanation for how the immunity worked. And it's interesting. One small thing they changed that, I don't know, it's not really a spoiler, is that instead of saying it grows inside the brain, like they did in the show. In the game, they say around or on the brain.
Right.
And I think in the brain makes it a little more like, let's go in there.
It's gonna that up. It's very
the
similar.
Deli man's back. You gotta dice it.
Well, it's like if I'm correct in my medicine, and I did go to a deli school. Rabies grows like in the brain, and the only way to test an animal for rabies is to basically after it's dead, check its brainstem. And I think it's like the same for humans. If you get bit by an animal and they think you have rabies, they just give you rabies shots because they can't really like test for it very well. Check with your local deli guy to make sure that's true.
But don't get 2 shots in a row.
Don't get 2 shots in a row. But yeah, this idea that like there's no way to get this out of her without killing her. So we'll put it fully inside her brain so that you as the audience know like this had to happen. I did like this kind of explanation for immunity. And again, we're thinking this is how it happened. There was no like, I'm Mr. Scientist and this is exactly how it happened. Yeah, you see these events unfold and it makes a lot of sense.
It was like
this is how it could be.
The most believable option they could do. Like, was it airtight? Maybe not. There's some questions about like the timing between the bite and cutting the umbilical cord.
But if like just enough gets through, but it's also because the
just
mother is
of
full.
What? Fungus?
If the virus moves that fast, which it probably does, and by not like changing you fully, but if it moves through your bloodstream that quickly, it could make it. And then in a weird, gross way, if it's in the vaginal canal, she could have gone through the secretions on her way out. I know a lot about sex ed.
Yeah, because like when a baby goes through like the birth canal, right? It's stuff is put on the baby to like make it more immune to diseases and stuff when it comes out of the womb.
Normally the baby would develop its own blood cells and do all its other things eventually as it creates its own. But when it's first born, it doesn't. But then again, it's a cordyceps. We don't know what that is.
Is this like a perfect combination of this woman is pregnant? She's full of like extra hormones because of the pregnancy that are being fed to the baby.
She has the X
gene. She gets bit at the right moment. And also, yes, there could be some genetic makeup about this person that all of these things combined, this is the baby that is born immune.
It is the most like what we saw is what it is, the immune. There is definitely other immune babies out there.
I mean,
there has to be. Like another pregnant woman was bit. I guarantee it.
Like there's other immune babies, and I think your idea, which also my wife I think immediately had of like, let's get a farm going where you have pregnant ladies getting bit all the time. Like that's like if this was the X-Files, that's season 9 of The Last of Us, right? You discover the farm of all these pregnant women, you're like, just like tied in like that.
But technically, you'd only have to do that Well, technically, you might only. Okay, this is dark. Actually,
Well, there you do it
human
once, and then
farming.
you
You
kill
do
the
it
baby.
once,
Sure.
and then the pregnant woman who had and then the baby who is
baby.
immune can have immune babies.
In theory, we don't know how it
Without
works, but
dying.
I think you just cut open the baby and get the brain, right? You do what you were gonna do to Ellie
Damn, that's
eventually.
dark as hell. That's the boys' shit.
The boys
Cutting
would do that.
Cutting open babies' heads. Absolutely. Oh, God.
Oh, golly.
Let's go to the game changes. Hannah, take it away.
All right. Well, just gotta shake that off real
Yeah.
quick from my brain. All right, we're back, baby. This section is where we talk about the game versus the show. I know I gave a little hint before, but this is the real. This is the real. If you want to go into the game blind, do not watch this section. We're talking about it. Not part 2 yet.
Not part two
part
yet,
2.
no.
No part 2 game. So we never see Anna in the games. That is completely new to the show. We hear her name through Marlene's voice recordings and stuff like that. But the whole intro with the giving birth, the explanation for Ellie's immunity is new. Ellie gets the knife as a baby from Marlene, or Marlene passes it along down the generations. But a fun fact in the comic, she gets it as a teenager. She gets the knife as a teenager. It's just a fun little fact. Something that I was kind of mourning a change about this is that one of my favorite parts of the game is that when we cut to, right after she does the stab, stabby, stabby with David, and it cuts to springtime, they are on that highway, her and Joule. But in the game, Ellie is staring and disassociating at like a carving, a plaque of a deer on the wall.
Okay.
And I love the symbolism of this because it's just such a moment where you can see the absolute loss of innocence that came from that chapter. Because I said this in a trailer breakdown, deers often represent innocence. She has that moment where she kills the deer right before all the David stuff goes down. And so I really wish they'd CGI'd a freaking deer plaque onto a wall. Come on!
Sorry.
Anyway.
Next time.
Oh, you still get the disassociating moment, so fine. Joule's attempt to take his own life is also a new concept to the show, and a heartbreaking one.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I think emotional line of the episode was her saying, "I'm glad that didn't work out." And that broke my heart. Some game players, there's a idea that maybe he did this between game players, but that mostly has to do towards his attitude around the subject.
Yeah.
But
It's never overtly stated in the
they
game.
never overtly say that he attempted anything like that. In the game, there's a whole section where they're going through a tunnel, and then the tunnel's filled with water. Ellie can't swim. I thought did that ever come back in the show? Her
No,
not
I
swimming?
thought after they set that up
introduced it.
in
Yeah, yeah.
episode 2, we would totally see that happen
No,
again.
she never,
Yeah.
like,
Because it's a big
almost
part of the game,
drowns.
you're constantly having to push her around on a raft, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, so, okay, well, strange. But in the game, this moment where they get knocked out results from them going down a flooded tunnel, like hopping cars. Joule gets taken under,
Right.
and then Ellie follows him, and then they basically pass out from being underwater
Right.
too long, and then they wake up to the Fireflies pointing guns at them. Or, well, Ellie doesn't wake up.
Yeah.
Joule wakes up to the Fireflies pointing guns at them. And, yeah, in the show, there's just a flash bang, and which is much more effective,
It's much more
honestly.
effective,
It's
yeah.
quicker. The explanation of the infection is new. Also, the surgery process, like I said, inside versus around or on or whatever. Something I noticed, which seemed like a weird change to me, but I noticed it. It was very specific.
Right.
When Marlene is talking about what the result of the surgery is going to be, in the game she says they could make a vaccine, Joel. A vaccine. And in the show they changed it to a cure,
Oh,
Joel. A cure. That's got to be a pandemic.
It's
Yeah,
gotta
I
be-
think it's like
It's gotta be a
vaccine's a very
pandemic.
charged word, and they're
Yeah.
like, they don't want to get demonetized on
Well,
YouTube.
I also
so they
think
don't wanna say
vaccine and cure are two different.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
define them are very different.
Vaccine's not
definitions.
100%,
Yeah.
but a cure is 100%.
Yeah.
right?
So they probably in the game were like, yeah, what you gonna do? And then now they're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute.
Hold on.
They know what a vaccine is now.
In the show, a new aspect is when Joule walks away, you see a single tear roll down Marlene's face. You see this is really affecting her. In the game, because we have to follow Joule and Ellie, you don't see this, but you do get a taste of how much she regrets this, how hard this has been through tape recordings and journals that she leaves and things like that. In the show, in the game, there's only one guy that ushers Joel out of the room and
Right.
shoves him with the gun a couple times. And in order to get the info of where Ellie is out of him, Joel shoots him in the gut a couple times to get that info, and he finally admits,
Yeah.
tortures him, and he admits that she's in the pediatric ward. And then Joel kills him. In the show, he doesn't have any of that. He's literally like, I don't have time for this, and kills him.
Right.
So-
I ain't got time.
it's all about efficiency in the show. They just gotta
Gotta pick it up.
you know. In the show, Joule, like how Joule lies to Ellie is a little bit, it's like lengthened. He doesn't go into raiders attacking the hospital. He doesn't go into any of that. It's very kind of brief in the game. A lot of the lines are the same, but the thing about the raiders attacking, that's new.
Oh, okay.
Her also asking if Marlene's okay is new in the show. But I think that subs out in the game her relationship already being developed with Marlene. She likes her. So in the show, they had to replace that with dialogue instead. So that makes sense. The ending is nearly shot for shot. They go into more detail in their conversations about Sarah. That conversation's a little longer. And the final conversation with Joule and Ellie, where Ellie talks about all of the people that have died, all he says in return is something like, he's like, I know what survivor's guilt is like, and then she has the last moment. In the show, he goes on and on about, like, I don't know, something where she's like, no. That's not what I'm talking about. Swear to me or whatever. And then finally, a big one is that in the show, we have confirmation that she had to kill Riley, which we never got in the game. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. This is her person she heard, I would assume. That reference she made a few episodes ago.
She straight up said killed. She didn't even say hurt this time.
She didn't use the euphemism, the good speak, if you will. Going through our kill counts real quick. Ellie coming in with 1 kill posthumously. She killed Riley in the past. We'll give her the point this time. Joule having a murderer's row of 18.
Golly.
Going through the hospital. Sorry, Doc. Marlene?
They also, sorry, just to interject, they've been talking, Druckmann and Neal in their podcast have been talking about how much they wanted to have those people who were killed personified, and they held on that guy's face for quite a while, and I feel like that was...
These are not just like generic baddies, these are people...
This isn't the
they use names a
Stormtroopers.
lot, they've given a lot of names to a lot of these people that you see
18
die.
real people that he killed.
Usually you think if you get a name as an actor, you'll probably live, but not on this show. You get a name, you're dead as a doornail.
As long as it's a last name.
Marlene came in with a kill, and then Anna coming in with a kill herself, being the infected that burst into the house. Before I wrap everything up today, we'll get into some full spoiler talk now. So if you don't want to be spoiled about season 2, get out of here. The major antagonist for The Last of Us Part 2 is a girl named Abby. Her dad, Jerry, was the doctor that Joel shoots at the end. We learned in the second game that Marlene also didn't want Ellie to die and fought Jerry on the procedure, but eventually relented because if it's a cure, folks. We also know that Abby was in the hospital that night and finds his body after Joel's rampage. This is all revealed in the second game. I mention this because one of the nurses in the hospital is played by Laura Bailey.
That's my girl.
The voice actress that played Abby in the game. A nice little cameo and reference for her. I think it's also worth pointing out that really the only setup for season 2 is the camera holding on Jerry's head wound for a while before Joel scoops up Ellie, kind of emphasizing this guy died. This guy is dead.
I was really surprised at that. They didn't have any added
I also love,
about
it's very similar, I mean, in the game, you have to pull the trigger on the doctor. It's like a very intense kind of moment. And I don't know, when I played it, I kind of took a second because I was like, do I not do this? I don't understand. I like it on the show, he's just like, nope, dead. No, like, I'm not taking, I don't want to hear your pitch. I don't want to hear your spiel. You're dead.
I have not played the second game, period. Because I didn't want to spoil the first season for me.
Right.
And when my mom watched every spoiler for the second season and has told me everything, she keeps being like, oh my God, they didn't even care about the doctor. They were like, she was like, why don't they care about the doctor? Do they know Abby yet? And I was like, no one knows Abby yet.
No one knows Abby yet.
No one knows Abby yet. My mom was also speculating earlier that we saw Abby a million freaking times. I think when we were also talking about it in Tommy's place.
But
I guess it gives the new audience the same experience as the game players got, but I'm just surprised there's no link. Because when they were making the first game, Druckmann didn't know that Abby was going to be the doctor's daughter.
He didn't know he'd get a second game. He really had no idea.
But they did know that when making this show. I'm just shocked.
We do know the show's getting a second season. Very exciting. Can't wait to see what they do in it. I think they had a very successful first season.
They already knew
really
that.
Great adaptation of the video game. I'm really excited to see where the show goes, and I can't believe it's over so quickly.
I know. I needed this for my health. I wasn't feeling great watching the show every Sunday.
But ironically, you need it for your health.
It was this.
Hey, if you're feeling down, go talk to your jelly doctor today and see what he can slice off of your body and make you feel better.
Don't get within 3 feet of him. Someone's warning you.
Keep the distance between the glass where the meat is shown and him. Okay, that is it for this episode of The Break Room. Although The Last of Us has finished filming, we do this show this show right here. Not this show exactly, but the break room.
Right.
Every day live at 3 p.m. You also get the Mandalorian, the Wookiee Leaks.
Yeah,
via
we're doing
Leaks.
Wookiee Leaks coverage on the break room, so check that out on Wednesday mornings.
You filthy freaks.
You filthy Mando freaks.
You Wookiee Leaks, as Tommy calls you. Follow me at Lulu_Clemons. Follow Brandon at Greene and Barrick. Follow Anna at It's Anna Vanston. She pulled that from behind my ear. She pulled it from behind my ear. I didn't know Joel was a magician, but I guess he is today. Subscribe to the break room wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you again next Tuesday. Thanks for watching.
Endure and survive. Bye.
I need the battery.
I need the battery.